Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I'm in Washington, D.C., and I'm at the Power Up Conference for Women's Equality Day. This is hosted by Gloria Felt and Women Connect for Good. This is my second year in a row going, and let me tell you, I do not miss this. Last night we were at a VIP dinner, and we heard this amazing performance by Marina. I mean, lots of good things happening here. And my next guest is Haley. Haley, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So is this your first time to conference? Have you been in previous years? Talk to me about the connection.
Yeah, this is my third year. I actually met Gloria at a conference in Abu Dhabi that was for women mentorship. She was on the 50 over 50 list for Forbes.
Wow.
And we got connected there, and ever since have been in each other's orbit. And she invited me to the conference 3 years ago that was at UCLA. And it was great because I was living on the West Coast then. And then I moved to DC, and the last two conferences have been in DC. So it's been perfect.
Wow. So lots of ways you can spend your time. What keeps you coming back and supporting this organization?
Yeah, I mean, it is incredible to be in a space that is so mentorship driven as a young woman, filled with women who have really had incredibly successful careers in advocacy and in making that sort of tangible change and measure, like impact in their life, and being so open with their time and their experiences. Yeah. So I've just been so grateful every single year. I've come back with new mentors, new learnings, and sort of a newly filled cup. So
talk a little bit more about your business and your work.
Absolutely. So I am a activist, creator, and digital strategist. So I focus on bringing activism online and how you can help mobilize young people around the issues that they care most about. So I work with progressive advocacy organizations. I also run my own weekly program called Haley on the Hill, where I sit down with members of Congress and the Senate to talk about the issues that matter most to young people and hear directly from them in really easy, digestible formats, trying to sort of combat just the overwhelming amount of noise on the internet, misinformation, disinformation, and provide a place where young people, and especially young women, can find a voice and a place to lean in and be advocates for the things that they care about.
So take me back to the beginning. How did you originally get the idea for this? Whether it's your show, Haley on the Hill, or any of these rest, like, did you go to school? You're like, oh, I'm going to be creating this. Were you entrepreneurial? Like where'd these ideas come from?
You know, it's so interesting because I never really visualized Haley Lickstein Media or Haley on the Hill and the work that I'm doing, but more so grew up in a household that really valued grassroots advocacy in the most localized sense of the word. Yeah. Always found myself really involved in the issues from a volunteer capacity, mostly, that mattered most to me. And as the world shifted over the last few years, I used my free time after my 9 to 5 to start talking about things that matter to me online and start reaching out to organizations that I care about and offer my time in a volunteer capacity to put together different programs that I thought would be beneficial to young people, and then realized there's actually some meat to this, and I think it's really important. And I want to do this more. And I just kept leaning in, and then ended up doing it full time for about a year and a half now.
Wow. So talk about your vision for what's next and how you want to grow this brand going forward.
Yeah, I think that when I think about what's next, I'm honestly more focused on the impact in the world that we're in than the brand development. So interesting. How can I do more, reach more people in a time where I feel like it's never been more important, and every single day leading up to the next year and 3 years are so important to be using our voice. And so how I can continue to sort of just expand the people that I'm connecting with and hopefully helping to expose their ideas and different information to. And so that's kind of how I'm focused, like laser focused on the next year and a half on how I can reach as many young people as possible and empower them to use their voice and their platform and realize that their voice really matters and to stay engaged and involved. And if I'm able to grow a brand while doing that, then that would be great.
So amazing. So when you're having these conversations and when you're creating this content, and I love this because obviously I'm in the content creation space as well. And what the interesting part to me is that a lot of times whatever generation we want to say. Every generation says it to another generation. But in our particular generation, it's the thought process of like on social media, people creating content isn't always, it's wasting time. It's all these other things, but it is the new medium. It is the TV. It is the whatever, depending on who's watching this, they grew up with radio or whatever it was. So when we think about the ability to really affect, and the word that you use, which I love, is impact, to create lasting impact, like people have to get involved. If you don't get involved, then, others will do it for you and they'll write your narrative for you.
Yep.
Well, how do you encourage the next generation, the current generation, whomever, to create content that matters and that helps create impact? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, I think first I want to touch on what you said, that people say, making content is a waste of time or it's not valuable. We know the majority of young people are getting their news on the internet.
For sure.
Not even young people, but millennials getting their news on the internet.
Yep.
That we know most people aren't turning on the television anymore, that there's a lot of distrust in traditional media and traditional sort of legacy media, and whatever medium that is, whether it's print, whether it's television, whether it's film and documentaries, we're seeing the growing lack of funding for that kind of traditional media.
Sure.
And so it's never been more important. And also it really democratizes voice. And that's sort of my pitch to young people is when you look at old school grassroots organizing, there was door knocking, and that was one of the most important tools. It's still used today because it met people where they are. That is where young people are right now, is they're online. That's where communities are.
That's
they're being
equivalent
built.
to knocking on the door.
You're showing up where they are. And it democratizes voice in the sense that you no longer need a whole production studio, a Netflix, a PBS behind you. You don't need tons of funding. If you have something you're passionate about, you are able to turn on your phone, for better or worse. Not everyone should do it. You can turn on your phone and you can share your ideas with the world.
I think everyone should do it. I'm not going to agree with you on that one, because I started out. Haley, when I started, I couldn't say my name in front of a camera.
I think there's a difference between people like yourself and people who are maybe bad actors or have bad intentions or want to spread misinformation. And I think there's a lot of those people online who are using
those. I agree.
Right, who are using the power of social media for nefarious reasons. But if you
want to counteract that, you have
need to get
participate.
online. Yeah, you have to participate.
So you can't, if you're just sitting back talking about it and watching it, when you're watching their content, you're supporting it.
Yep.
And that's what I try to tell people. I'm like, how much time do you spend watching and or listening to this and complaining about it and making them not only richer, but extending their reach? And that's what I'm trying to teach people.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you're doing that, because it is the modern day town square. It is where you stand up on your soapbox and give your spiel, whatever it is that matters to you. It's been instrumental for small businesses. If you want to start your own business, it's been instrumental for expanding access to education. We have teachers who are online giving AP courses or college courses via TikTok for free. We're breaking down so many barriers, and it's really democratizing education and reach and voice. And so everyone should be a part of it.
Amazing. Well, Haley, thank you so much for coming on the show and taking some time out. Last thing I want you to do, I want you to look directly into the camera. How can people follow up? How can they listen to your show? How can they connect?
Absolutely. If you're looking to find me or hear more about me, it's at Haley Lickstein on Instagram and TikTok, and Hot Takes with Haley on Substack.
Fantastic. For everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so that you can just click on the links and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Haley, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.